Welcome to Aftermath TV, everyone. Welcome to this segment. I got Nug, doing crazy things with his hands. I got Jimmy Corderas.
It's the finger guns, baby.
What's going on, guys?
Trying to take in this nice weather.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm going kayaking this afternoon, so
Nice.
What?
so let's speed this up, please.
Okay, sorry. All right.
No. Okay.
On this segment, we talked about the Undertaker documentary, which is on the WWE network, and something that I've been watching and loving every second of. So I want to, what's your guys' update? What do you like? What do you don't like?
Oh, I'm enjoying pretty much all of it. It's because even myself who got to experience the Undertaker for almost my entire career there at WWE, minus the first maybe 4 years I was there. I'm getting to see a side of the Undertaker that very, very, very few people are getting to see, and I'm getting to understand that he has the same, doubts and sometimes the same issues as everybody else. Because, like we said before, he was our locker room leader. Everybody turned to him for advice, and everybody turned to him for help. And now here's a guy who's struggling with his own internal, I hate to use this term, but demons.
Yeah.
And having to deal with them. And you see people like Triple H coming to him and saying, hey, you're the dead man. You don't need to, worry about this and worry about that. But I'm liking the fact that I'm getting to see, as much as it kind of tears down that image that we have of him, for some people, that's not to me, that's never going to be affected. I'm liking this.
Jimmy, working with him and being friends with him, what's the biggest shock to you after knowing him for all these years, watching this documentary?
Exactly what I said, that he himself had those internal thoughts to himself. Those doubts. Is it time for me to hang it up? Am I still the same Undertaker? Obviously, as you get older, you can't go like you used to go. But at the same time, you figure it out.
Right.
I still can.
You think you can, but
I know I can.
but you know what I mean. Like, as you get older, nobody could fight Father Time. You know what I mean. So you have to adapt, and you can still be great without, relying on some of the stuff you did in the past. You just get more creative.
The cool part is that everyone kind of has to do this, regardless. If you work, let's say you work at Sportsnet and you do something media related, editing or something like that, you may have had a crappy morning. Maybe you got into a scrap with the wife, and you got to come in and smile and be respectful and get the job done and go to work.
Right.
You're not getting body slammed and thrown into the ropes, but you still have to suppress what's bothering you and perform. And I think everyone has to do that. If you're a parent, your kids look to you like you are God, right? Like, you know what I mean? They rely on you. And if you're having a bad day, and so you got to put on that strong face and sit at the dinner table, and, maybe it's financial worries. You guys are worrying about the mortgage payment, but you got to be strong at the dinner table and say, shut up and eat your veggies.
The same thing happens when you're a performer, when you're in a play, a musical, on stage, whether it's a TV show, an improv show, a stand-up show, whatever is happening, whatever problems are going on in your real life, you got to take those and hang them up before you hit the stage. You have to leave those there, because taking that out on stage with you is not good for your own performance, does not help the other people that are on stage with you, and makes everything difficult for everybody in the audience. Can see that you're not 100% into what you're doing.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there worried about my bills and worried about my relationship and worried about my life when I'm out on stage trying to be funny, it shows up and it comes out in everything I say and everything I do. You got to hang it up and then hit the stage.
It was like that writer that tried to write the sitcom episodes for me, whose dad just passed and all this stuff, and he broke his hip. He just couldn't come up with funny.
The other amazing thing I'm getting out of this is, with someone who had a historic, iconic career like The Undertaker, there's always that thing about going out on your terms and being cool with saying, okay, I'm done. I went out the way I wanted to go. And, this whole stuff with the Shawn Michaels thing, and Shawn Michaels being okay with finishing his in-ring career the way he did. I understand that completely. I mean, like AC, you can speak to this because you've suffered the neck injury, and we've seen with Edge recently with his comeback, you've almost seen this new regenerated Edge, because now this is his opportunity possibly to, I don't want to say end his in-ring career, but to go out on his terms.
Yeah.
And be happy and content with it. So hopefully, you know, the Undertaker, whenever he decides, and again, Edge said it too, how do you know when it's time? Only you know when it's time.
It happened to me also in believe it or not, God, I just realized that my amateur wrestling career, I wrestled at Concordia University, and my last year I was in really good shape, but I had a bit of a neck injury. I partially herniated a disc. So this is where it all started in university. I know my arm went all paralyzed and like I couldn't lift 15 pounds. Anyway, I came back from that. And I was in really strong physical shape, and I was seated. I was predicted to win the CIAUs at the time. And I had a horrible performance because I was cutting weight. Okay, I thought I was going to pull off the best maneuver of all time, where I had the provincial judo championships on Sunday and the CIAUs at McMaster University on Saturday. So I'm like, I'm going to win back-to-back. This is going to be like a epic, you know? But I was cutting so much weight for Sunday that I didn't even have a chance to eat after anyway, it was a horrible performance. I lost. I couldn't respond. And I even hurt my neck again. I couldn't even compete the next day. So that was that's how I went out in my amateur wrestling career, with this just, you know, what's called abysmal performance. Is abysmal a word?
There's an A. Yeah. There's an A.
Oh, you're good with words.
Yeah, it's from the word abyss.
It was an abysmal performance.
Abysmal.
And there was a part of me that always wanted to go back and have one more amateur wrestling match to show that that's not how I wrestled. That was not a reflection of me. I forget where I'm going with this. Oh, I guess, yeah, as your performance starts to decrease, the last one can't be a bad one. You can't go out like that. You know, but then all of a sudden you come back and you have a brilliant performance. You go, well, I can still do it. So it's like a double-edged sword.
What I'm really enjoying is seeing how human the Undertaker is. You know, how hard he is on himself. I think that when you see someone who's an amazing athlete, you know, someone who'd be deemed a legend in whatever they're doing, obviously they're very hard on themselves because they're pushing themselves to, you know, the furthest possible degree. But like watching him watch his performances, you can see in his facial expressions, if you really pay attention, how much he just tears himself apart. And to me, this is just such human qualities. And I really enjoy watching that, because there are times, you know, like I think that, you know, all of us here have been so hard on themselves, right? And we see this, the Undertaker, who everyone just reveres, and we're just like, he literally is doing the same thing to himself. You know, he has these internal battles, and I appreciate his vulnerability and showing that side of him. Also, with the hopeless romantic in me, I love seeing how he is with his wife and how they're soulmates. And, you know, you get this like very personable, relatable, you know, loving man outside of, you know, WWE as well. So I just like how everything's coming together, and the way his wife speaks of him, you know, also tugs on my heartstrings, because you can tell that they really, really care for each other. So overall, I'm really, really enjoying it. And I just love when people with such platforms take the opportunity to share their stories, even if it's taken, you know, X amount of years. I think that it's, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
And really quickly, if I can, you know, along with being friends with the Undertaker, I see some, I look at the series and I see some of the similarities, like the similar interests that we have, you know, playing cards in the back. Like I've had the opportunity to play cards, like him and Larry playing cards and stuff like that. And you know, just the traveling together, the real life situation, much like the Undertaker, I outkicked my coverage when it came to getting married. So I love that reference. So not only is he a legend, but also that he's real, like you said, and it's relatable.
Yes.
And you're saying to yourself, this is an icon. This is a legend. This is a guy who's probably on the Mount Rushmore of WWE. And he's like me.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
It's just amplified when you're a performer that's on stage, on television, and you're under the microscope a little bit. Everyone, he's famous, so it's amplified because he's famous. But one thing that's really important, and this is a message, and I've mentioned it in the past lots of times, it's really good to separate the fact that reality and fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a character. He's a guy. This guy, Undertaker, doesn't go to a hardware store and pile drive someone that doesn't give a count or something like that.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. And it's important for people and fans to realize, because there are people that the lines of fiction and reality are blurred, right? Especially when they're old school guys that kind of keep that kayfabe. And so if he's at the airport and he's just not talking and he's being serious and he'll give a nod and sign and walk away, you're like, oh my God, he's like it's real. That's how he is, and it's good to see that.
Unless you get him.
There's something nice when you compare that to the Michael Jordan documentary that's happening right now too. When you compare the two of them, I don't care. Come at me if you don't like this. I don't care. It's nice to see that when you're very, very good at what you do, you don't have to be Michael Jordan is the Undertaker is a super nice guy that is really trying to do his best for the business. And whether or not you agree with what he's doing, I get conflicting feelings about it. Maybe I think he should have retired a long time ago, but then we would have been deprived of some amazing Undertaker stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be awful to be good at what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't hold back on Michael Jordan. Tell us what you really think.
He doesn't. If I've learned anything, he does not care what I say about him.
Probably.
Michael Jordan, that's an interesting character. I'm all for being
On that note, let us know what you guys think about the Undertaker documentary. Don't forget to tune in on Sundays on the WWE Network. Tweet us. Hang out with us on Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Sportsnet, Facebook, and YouTube. We want to hang out with you. We want to talk with you. We want to answer your questions, hear your comments. So don't forget, pencil us in on Fridays.
Ask Aftermath.
Yeah. Yes, and we haven't done that in a while. Tweet us using the hashtag AskAftermath.
And it's also pretty cool. Imagine Michelle McCool, just before the wedding, she had to have a moment where she said, I'm marrying the Undertaker. She had to have a fan moment. I know she loves him for being Mark, but
they're so
pretty
cute.
cool you married the Undertaker. It's pretty cool.
You guys can just imagine me eating popcorn, watching all of that unfold, being like, "Aww." I love that stuff. I love that stuff so much. Okay, see you guys next time. Enough of me. Bye.